Angel-6942 calling in. Angel-6942 calling in. Angel-6942 calling in. The date in human years is Friday, the 28th of May 2021. And guys, I'm happy to report that the human host is settling back into work now. Though I'm still having these blackouts. I mean, for example, last Tuesday, I don't remember anything from waking up in the morning to finding myself sitting eating a sandwich on Tuesday lunchtime. And it's strange because the human shouldn't have been out at that time because his shift didn't start until much later in the afternoon. So I don't know what had been happening, or I don't know. Anyway, the human host and I sat down on Saturday to watch the Eurovision Song Contest. And it's a very interesting event because I've never seen it before. And there was lots of interesting things happening and sparkles and things. And there was a lady from Russia who was dressed in this really big, beautiful dress. Big and floating. She was floating everywhere and moving about. And then she stepped out to reveal that she was wearing a tracksuit. Also, there was a lady from the Ukraine who sort of screamed angrily a lot of people at the scream. Very, very angry. And she was wearing something that was described as the remains of Orville the duck. And she was surrounded by men jumping about, looking angry as well, jumping about on this very, very small stage. And that was interesting too. And there were lots and lots of ladies with long pigtails or big hair, wearing very, very tight and revealing costumes with so much tin foil in it that I wonder if anybody in Europe managed to roast a chicken for their Sunday lunch. Now, the UK's entry to the Eurovision Song Contest this year was a song called Embers. And the singer-songwriter called James, oh, there's something in my mouth. The singer-songwriter called James said it was about how everybody had been suppressed by the pandemic and was sort of waiting to sort of burst back into flames again, which is a nice sort of idea. And the BBC, who was organising the UK entry, decided to illustrate this sort of very relevant topic by having James wear a suit carrying case with a black zip and have trumpets as their main motif. Now, the UK came last and got 0 points from the judges and 0 points from the public that voted in. So they ended with nothing, 0, absolutely 0 last. And so it's nice to know that the UK are keeping their traditions. Now, the winners of the Eurovision Song Contest this year was Italy, and they sung a very, very heavy rock song. But the nice thing is that they were dressed in their parents' hand-me-downs from the 1970s, which is so lovely to show that the parents cared. And also, it saves on waste, which is a good thing now. Now, the Italian singer got into big trouble because a lot of people said that they saw him doing something illegal when they were filming The Green Room. Sorry, I've got to pick up a glass. Hold on. My nose seems to be itchy. It must be dust. Anyway, a lot of people complained about this, and when he won in the press conference, he was asked about this, and he said, no, I don't do things like that. So he had to take a drugs test, and he was cleared. He was negative for any drugs whatsoever. Though I do get the feeling that maybe he was sort of doing a prank as a joke because he didn't think he was going to win, and it sort of backfired. Anyway, there is a country called Belarus, which is part of Europe, and they usually take part in the Eurovision Song Contest. But this year they were disqualified because they kept putting in entries that had political lyrics in them. And apparently you're not allowed to have political lyrics in the Eurovision Song Contest. Though I don't quite understand, because the Russian entry by that lady with the big dress, well, her song was about how Russian women had to stand up and protest against what was happening to them, which I thought was a bit political, but apparently not. It's strange. Anyway, yeah. Now, in Belarus, there's big trouble because they had an election and it looked like the leader of the opposition had won because she got more votes. But the leader, the current leader, who is a general, or I think he's a general because he's got this big hat on, otherwise, unless he's sort of that person that meets you at the hotel and helps you with your bag. But I think he is a general. Anyway, he refused to stand down even though the opposition got more votes. So what happened in the end was the opposition leader had to sort of leave quickly and go into exile because she was afraid for her life. And then a lot of Belarusians were very unhappy and protested. And some Belarusians actually went into exile and blogged from outside the country how people should protest and stand up to what was happening. Now, one of the bloggers was flying on a budget airline between Greece and Lithuania, and the Lithuanian guests had really good entries as well. I think the Greece one, she was dressed as a superhero and she had magical powers and she could sort of float in air and things like that. Anyway, back to Belarus. Yes, so this blogger was flying on a budget airline between Greece and Lithuania, but they were suddenly intercepted by a jet, and they said that there was a bomb on board the airplane and they needed to divert and land, otherwise the jet was going to shoot them down. So they were going to get blown up anyway. Anyway, the jet did divert, but it turned out that it was all a ploy because there was secret police on the plane and they arrested the blogger and took him off the plane. So it was a ploy just to get that blogger. There was no bomb. And a lot of people were outraged because this is illegal and it has never been done before, that while people are travelling from one place to another and they're not landing in that country, over a country, usually people do not go and intercept it and take people off the plane. So a lot of people outraged, a lot of people scared, and a lot of leaders from other countries protested, saying, no, you shouldn't do that. No, you shouldn't do that. And also, the poor passengers that were on the plane that were diverted were also livid and angry because a tin of Diet Coke cost €3 for something that big. It's disgraceful. I'm outraged. Now, the big worldwide news this week was about a programme called Friends and how the people in it were reuniting. Apparently Friends was a TV programme about a group of people that lived in 2 flats and they got together and did things. It is a bit like, I think, a precursor to those television programmes now, like The Only Way is Essex and Made in Chelsea and Merseyside. Except I think in Friends that the acting was much more convincing. Yeah. Now, people are excited because these group of friends have never met again for 17 years. Which means they weren't such a great gang of friends then, were they? Anyway, so a lot of people were excited because they had a special programme to sort of reunite them. And a lot of people were excited to see how fat and how old and how much plastic surgery they had done. And one fan was so excited that she said that she was planning to have a Friends-themed wedding, which I presume is the one where, as they're giving vows, her fiancé says the name of his ex-girlfriend instead of hers, and then she sort of gets very upset, and then the ex-fiancé actually meets his ex-girlfriend on a plane and plans to take her on their honeymoon, and the bride who wanted the theme wedding finds out and then chucks him, and they end up not being married. Well, I suppose it's a very fun idea. Yes, now, in the UK, the big news is that Bojo, I got it right! It was Bojo, I think. Yeah, Bojo. There was an inquiry into Bojo's flat, before, saying how he paid for it. And apparently, Bojo had not broken the ministerial code, but he was unwise for agreeing to do things without actually knowing how to pay for it first. Which is basically what all politicians do on a run-up to an election, isn't it? But Bojo wasn't out of trouble yet, because his ex-bestest friend, Dominic, was giving evidence about how incompetent Bojo and his government were in handling the pandemic. And he was really, really happy to go. Dominic was very happy and was really enjoying it, going to this sort of inquiry saying that Bojo is a liar, Bojo is a liar, his knickers on fire, and Bojo is a liar, and Bojo is a liar, 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 knickers on fire, Bojo is a liar. And also, Dominic didn't like Matt, who was another bestest friend of Bojo, and said that Matt had lied and didn't know what he was doing, and Matt should be fired, Matt should be fired, his knickers are on fire, Matt should be fired. And apparently Dominic knew all about this because he was in the room and was all part of the same government that decided to do all these things. But apparently Dominic didn't speak up because his eyesight was really bad at the time. And in fact, now that he is speaking up, Dominic is a good boy now. Dominic is a good boy now because he's speaking up after he got fired. Now, the strange thing is that a lot of people used to hate Dominic because they said that he was manipulative and evil and told lies and was behind the whole Tory party's position. But those same people really, really like him now and said he's a hero and that he's telling the truth and are applauding him for telling the truth. Though for some strange reason they say the truth instead of his truth, which they do for a lot of other people, which is unusual. And I don't really understand how this happened because humans seem to be so focused on their different groups that they don't seem to sort of change it. They would find ways to not change their ideas, which makes me wonder if Dominic has some sort of mind control powers. Dominic. Demonic. Liar, liar, knickers on fire, Bojo is a liar, Matt should be fired, liar, liar, knickers on fire, Bojo should be fired, Bojo should be fired, Bojo is a liar, Matt is a liar, Matt is a liar, knickers on fire.